Boys and girls, we have been talking about the short O and the long O sound. We have been learning that the short O says ah, 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 and the long O says oh, it says its name. And we are learning how the bossy E tells that O to say its name. He says, hey O, you better say your name. And I'm not talking, so he's quiet, isn't he? Today we're going to use our dry erase boards and you're going to follow along with me and make some words. We're going to start with the word dot. Say that word slowly with me and write that on your board. Dot. D, d, d. D, ah, ah, ah. O, d, ah, t, 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 t. Now, what does that O say in that word? It says ah, ah, ah. So it doesn't say its name, so we don't need an E on the end, do we? Let's read this word together. Ready? Dot. Good job. Now, we're going to change this word to make the word dote. What happens to that O in this word? Oat. That O says its name, doesn't it? So we need the bossy guy at the end. Can you add the bossy guy to the end of your word? Good job. So he says, oh, you got to say your name. And then I'm not going to say anything, right? So he's going to say oat. Read that with me. Dote. Good job. So let's think about dote and let's change it. We're going to make one change. We're going to change dote to make the word note. So we're using the same word family of oat to make note. Can you make that change for me? You should have erased the letter D. And what letter do you hear at the beginning of note? You hear an N, don't you? This word is note. Run your finger underneath it with me and say it. Note. That O still says its name, so we need that bossy guy on the end. Okay, now let's change this word and let's make a new word. Listen. Not. Not. What are you hearing? What's different? We hear the N. Not. This is all the same. But the O, the sound is different, isn't it? It's not saying its name anymore. It says ah, ah. And when it says ah, we need to take the E away. We don't need the E. So this says not. Read it with me. Not. Good job. Now we're going to be tricky here. You're going to need to use your eraser a little bit. We're going to take these same three letters and rearrange them and make a new word. It's ton. T-un. Can you do that for me? So we're using these same three letters. The T is at the beginning. On. Ton. That is called ton. Like it weighs a ton. Ton. Okay, now we're going to make ton into the word tone. What are you going to do? Think about it. Own. What happens with that O? Own. You're right. The O says its name. So what guy needs to go up there? It needs to be the E, right? He says, hey, O, you better say your name. And I'm not talking. So again, we have that bossy E. Read this word with me. Ready? Tone. Wonderful. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to take tone and change it to make tote. Tote. Where do you hear that change? Tote. We have the T the same. T-o, t-t-t. Did you take away the N? That's what you should have done. T-t-t. And replaced it with the letter T. Now in the word tote, what does the O say? T-o. It says O. So tote needs that bossy E on the end because it says, hey, oh, you better say your name. All right, we're going to change tote to make the word tot. What do you need to do for this word? Tot. What does the O say? Tot. Ah, ah, ah. It says Ollie Octopus, doesn't it? So we need to take away that bossy E because that O is just making the short vowel sound. All right, let's change tot to make top. Say it slowly. Top. Where do you hear the change? Can you change it for me? Top. Top. You should have taken away the T and replaced it with the P. Op. In this word, what does the O say? It says ah. So do we need a bossy E? We don't, do we? Read this word with me. Top. All right, let's change top to make pop. Pop. Where do you hear the change there? Pop. You should have erased the T. What letter goes at the beginning? Pop. The letter P. Pop. Does the O say ah, or does the O say its name? Op. Op. It says ah, so do we need a bossy E? No, you should have not written the bossy E. All right, ready? Let's write a new word. Pope. Say it slowly. Ope. What's happening to that O now? It's saying its name. So what do we need to add to make that word say its name, or make that letter say its name? We need to add that bossy E because he tells that O to say its name. Let's read this word. Ready? Pope. Good job. Okay, we're going to change pope to make the word rope. Rope. Where do you hear the change? Ope. You should have taken away the P, and what letter should we add? The letter R. Ope. In this word, the O says its name, so the bossy guy needs to be at the end. He says, hey, O, you better say your name, and I'm not talking. All right, let's change rope to make hope. Hope. Where do you hear the change here? Hope. You should take away the R, and what letter do you hear at the beginning? Hope. You hear an H, don't you? Let's say this word. Hope. Is the O saying its name still? Oh, it is. So we need the bossy guy at the end. Let's read it one more time. Hope. All right, for my last word, we're going to make one change. We're going to change hope to make the word hop. What do we need to do to make hop? Op. You're right. We need to take away the E, don't we? There's no E here because the O says ah. Read your word with me. Ready? Hop. Good job, boys and girls. Today we worked on making words with the short O, saying ah. We also worked on making words with the bossy E. And the bossy E makes the O say its name, like in the word hope. Remember, you need to add an E to the end of your words to make the vowel say its name. Good job today. Thanks for working with me.